Welcome back to Vivid Earth, everyone. I am back at home base and I'm very happy to be back. I hope you've all been well. There's no place like home, as they say, and I can truly attest to that. One always loves to travel, but it's so good being back home. I can't tell you. So, everyone, we've been through some dramatic energetics in the last few weeks with the Lions Gate, the 7-7 portal. We've had so much energy building around the planet. We've seen so much disclosure. We've seen so many timeline jumps. It's been pretty unbelievable. This past weekend, we had a black moon, a new moon in Virgo. That felt like a bit of a turning point. You know, it's like a cosmic crossroads that we went through, like a rebirth cycle. I know for a lot of people, it's not been an easy couple of weeks. But you know, this is unfortunately what is required of us to go through this ascension process. You know, as more light floods the planet, as the frequency rises, that no longer resonates has to come up. And we always think, oh, I don't have anything, no more shadows, no more traumas to release. And then bam, it hits you, right? So it is a progress. It's a work in progress, guys. None of us are ascended masters at this point. We all have things to do. We all also have contracts to do on behalf of the collective to work through ancestral trauma, release those for the bloodline and the collective around us. So, you know, going through those things is not a reflection on who you are or that you failed or that you're not, you know, doing well enough in your ascension journey or anything like that. It is just par for the course. You know, it's not even always your stuff, but it's important for us to look at that. It's important for us to have compassion during this time, humility, because sometimes we are flying, right, in 5D, and then the next minute we crash and burn. We seem to be yanked right back into 3D, and that is not a failure. So you don't have to judge other people if they're going through that, and you don't have to judge yourself if you're going through that. It is part of this process. We're not moving in a straight line, guys. We're moving in a spiral. Imagine yourself on a spiral staircase. Sometimes it feels like even you're going a little bit backwards, but you're not. You're moving upwards in that spiral, and that is how evolution works. So not the Fibonacci sequence, which is like a all self-consuming evolution. This is a evolution in a spiral format where we keep growing. We don't, you know, we seem to be going back and revisiting things, but then we spiral up higher and wider, and we never consume each other's energy. We always create more. We amplify each other. And that is this time that we are in. A lot of people are having vivid dreams. A lot of people are having strange things happening to them, anomalies, timeline jumps, all sorts of crazy stuff. But isn't that the fun part of it, you know, when the crazy stuff starts? And, you know, the sleepers amongst us are going to start seeing things getting a little weird. Just now, very recently, in mainstream media, it's been reported that there are 4 alien species on Earth right now. So, you know, disclosures coming through thick and fast. They no longer holding back any punches. And I think also our ET brothers and sisters have decided they're not waiting for government approval for anything. They're going to be showing themselves. They're going to be reuniting with their starseed brothers and sisters that are on mission on this planet, helping the planet ascend, aka you and I and everyone watching this and everyone watching this kind of content. You can be sure you're on mission here. You won't be interested in these topics if it wasn't the case. So, you know, we all have a role to play. There's no competition, there's no comparison. We're all in this race together. We decided and agreed on different journeys, different ways in which we're going to do this, different additional sort of contracts and life and soul lessons that we wanted to learn. It's not just about helping Earth, but also soul lessons. So it's all wrapped into one. So it's an interesting time. You know, when you look at what's going on in the world stage, it's getting rather spicy. You know, with Washington, D.C. now being federalized and now 20 states in the US having, you know, the National Guard or Secret Service rolled out. And that really is, for those that have been on this journey doing the research and going down the rabbit holes, we know that is a good sign. Things are moving forward. We've just seen this Hopi prophecy resurface of a big white brother with a red hat or a red cap that's going to be, disrupting the status quo and saving the planet, basically. And the normies that have been, oh, all Orange Man bad, and still making fun of him, will be eating their words soon, because whether you like this man or not, it's been destined that he will be the one that help that 3D reality that we are in, um, uh, self-implode. And I'm talking about all the systems and all the disclosure that needs to happen. So he's the one that is leading the charge on that, along with 200 generals and the global White Hat Alliance, plus connected with a Galactic Earth Alliance, and to help this shift on Earth, not just in our minds and hearts and our consciousness, but also in the physical structures that we have on Earth, because this is a very, very complex shift that we're going through. It's all aspects of our life, right? And there's so many things that have to change and shift, not to even mention the financial system and the monetary system that will have to change, and that is imminent, and the fallout that will have. So, with the Black Moon this weekend, we are now into Manic Monday. Everyone is expecting fireworks in terms of Evergrande, because they had until, well, today the shares, I think, were going to be delisted, and they are a massive organization, and many big groups like BlackRock and Co are heavily invested in them. So how is that going to affect them? So this might just be the straw that breaks the camel's back, so to speak. We've all been waiting for. There's been a lot of rumors on the currency revaluation that is imminent. We've got some interesting things coming out of Iran and Syria and Iraq. I believe there's a deadline of, there's one deadline of the 25th of August, which is today, right? And then the 25th of September, I think, is a major deadline where it's going to all go down. So, there's just so much on the go. We cannot control all these elements around us. We can only control our inner world, how stable we are, how peaceful we are in our inner world, because that's going to be a big thing that's going to help us through all this change, and that others are going to rely on us for too as well. So having that peace in your heart, knowing that all hell's going to break loose, but that everything will be okay. We will be surviving this, and we will thrive through it, and a better world is being born and being birthed right now. And and that requires a lot of inner work, because even a lot of awaken people are going to be shaken during this time. And even though they kind of knew it was coming, they might not quite know how to deal with it, or their faith, or they might not be able to carry them through. So we really need to be very strong. Our inner world has to be very stable, strong like an old tree with deep roots into the earth. So daily grounding practices, inner work, affirmations, gratitude for what we have and what we've achieved, and just the groundedness, the rootedness, and the confidence that you are a source of infinite power, if only you will tap into it, and not to give your power away to anyone, because each one of us are required to be power nodes during this time of change, during this bridge from 3 to 5D. And yes, there's still going to be a lot going on for the next 2 years, but this is kind of quite a pivotal point that we're in now. There are some people that believe, and I know that there's different opinions about this, but the 25th of March this year was kind of the official end of the Kali Yuga, and that we're currently in kind of a gestation period, and that there's something big coming on the 21st of December, on the solstice, winter solstice for the northern hemisphere, summer solstice for the southern hemisphere, and that we'll be stepping into a new type of human form at that time. And we can see our bodies adjusting from carbon to crystalline in almost on a daily basis, all the aches and pains, all the adjustments that our body is going through, the fact that we are discovering so much more about water, plasma, crystal, and it's all linked to our bodies. We, in fact, are not made of 70% water. We've got plasma inside, but that's part of the water family, right? You've got crystal, you've got plasma, you've got gas. Water can be in gas form. So there's various forms that water can be in, including solid form, which would be ice, or crystal, and so things are evolving and adapting. We are in the chrysalis right now. We are going from caterpillars to butterflies, and we in the mulch, that mushiness, that in between phase. That's where we are now. So, don't lose faith that you are not doing well, that you're going in the wrong direction, that you are feeling a little low frequency. It's been a little bit of a strange lull, and a lot of us had physical issues come up, which is part of the ascension symptoms as our body adjusts. And some might have even felt depressed and, all sorts of emotional stuff come up. It's all part of the process. We are in the washing machine of transformation right now. And just be in the moment and just have grace for yourself and the confidence and the knowing that it's all going to work out. We are in such a beautiful time right now. So all those that are sensitive to energy are feeling this, and those that are not might just feel something's a little bit off, but they can't quite place it right. But something feels a little off. That's all they know. And so, yeah, it's a powerful time. I've been looking again also at the analogy of the dragonfly, the story of the dragonfly, how the nymph evolved into the dragonfly, the water nymph. And that is a prophecy that was also explored in detail by Richard Rudd, who's the founder of Gene Keys, um, and how he's been teaching, or speaking about this for years, that the dragonfly prophecy is linked to the birth of the new human, as it's been called. You can call it Homo luminous or whatever you want to call it, but it's a new human form that's being birthed right now. Um, and it looks at how the dragonfly metamorphoses from a water nymph into a butterfly with a dragonfly with four wings. Um, and um, and this is because of a mutation within our DNA. And this mutation, not in a bad way, in a beautiful way, is what's going to be happening apparently by the 21st of December. So we will see. We're in for an exciting time. We're in the big shift, and nothing can stop what's coming. You just have to stay the path and hold the line and hold the light throughout. Um, we are in a period of profound transformation, and it's going to get more and more weird. Just a gentle warning, it's going to get more and more weird. Um, so when you look at the dragonfly in terms of various spiritual and prophetic traditions, they often symbolize profound change or transformation, a calling to evolve beyond current limitations, and believe that you can evolve beyond your current limitations. Um, so it's where seeing the dragonfly might signal unexpected joy, freedom, clarity, and the shedding of old layers, and emerge anew. So, the dragonfly was once a predator nymph that represents our current state. Survival of the fittest, survival driven, competitive, limited. We don't have enough. We have to fight for what we need. And then in that transformation process, the inner mutation, which is akin to a DNA shift, there's a fundamental evolution that takes place. And then the emergent dragonfly, which symbolizes the new human, elevated consciousness, harmony, multifaceted sight, multidimensionality, and your understanding that you are a multidimensional being. So Richard reckoned that in 2027, this transformation will be fully in action. And we've heard from the Galactics that we're basically ahead of schedule for this ascension window. So I think next year is going to be a pivotal year. I'm quite confident we might see a solar flash in the first or second quarter of 2026 that's going to just like push us over the edge. It's not meant to be a total transformation, but rather a final push, that birthing process, right? You need that final push just to get the baby out. And that's what it's going to be. So it's all very, very interesting. a lot of people dismiss the fact that our DNA is busy evolving, and scientists are the first to dismiss that. Well, it turns out scientists are, the slowest amongst us. It's not so, being a scientist is not all it's cracked up to be, because not everything can have physical proof. Sometimes there's a knowing, and sometimes things happen in the quantum that cannot yet be proven or proven by science, basically. So it is limited. And we're no longer in a world where we need just only physical, logical proof for things. That world has changed, and that ship has sailed. It's gone. So we are expanding massively. There's been a lot of activity on the Schumann resonance. There's been blackouts, multiple blackouts. There's been showers of white light coming through. So everything is like a beautiful symphony. And every instrument is a part of this symphony. The Schumann resonance, the solar flares, humanity's consciousness, the star seeds, Gaia waking up and purging. It's all like a beautiful symphony, all working together towards the evolution of the planet and the ascension of the planet. So it's all extremely fascinating, people. And I hope you are as excited as I am. And, it's time for us to really uncover who we really are, what we're really here to do, without ego, but just to have that deeper understanding of what we're here to do. And all of us have multiple missions and perhaps one main mission. And it's just a discovery, getting into a little bit more of your galactic origins and what roles you may have played in other different lives, why you chose this blueprint right now to be on Earth in this particular, with this particular natal chart, with this particular astrocartography, with this particular, you know, ancestry, bloodline, blood type. All of these things are just a blueprint. So we basically conscious plasma that takes shape according to the blueprint, mixed with circumstances from the outside. And that is, again, like a beautiful symphony. So coming into the birth canal, you've got that blob of plasma that starts forming. You've got the soul coming in, directing the symphony. And then you have the blueprint to say, okay, this is what we've chosen. This is when we're going to be born. These are the aspects, the planetary alignments, the archetypes, this is where we're going to be born, what family, what circumstances. All of those things are mapped out. And so this plasma just takes shape accordingly. And they actually did some somatic exercises um, that they then overlaid upon one another, and the face of a baby came out of it. So that just like bing, bing, it just all came together for me, and it all made sense. So yeah, what a powerful time we are in, everyone. I'm not sure if there's any sort of intel I can go over with you. I don't really want to focus that more. I do share them on the Telegram channel. So there you can stay updated daily on what's happening intel wise. And then, of course, all the spiritual news and inspiration as well. So, yeah, we definitely had a timeline jump just yesterday, another one. And a lot of people have been reporting strange anomalies, vivid dreams, anomalies within, little Mandela effects. A lot of people have been reporting that. And as I said, Evergrande is going to be that big bombshell that's going to shake the financial world, including Wall Street. It's going to be delisted from the Hong Kong Stock Exchange today. Today is the 25th. I have to check because I'm just, today's just double checking. Following the suspension of its shares since January last year. So they've been given a lot of time to come up with the goods, and they haven't. And that was after failing to provide a viable restructuring plan for the $23 billion offshore debt. Yeah. So this delisting, a result of the company's failure to meet the exchange 8-month rule for resuming trading, marks a significant milestone in the opening property crisis, the ongoing property prices, and has profound implications for its bondholders who face a lengthy and uncertain recovery process with potential minimal payouts. So, and BlackRock being a major bondholder, So the impact on bondholders is that Evergrande's offshore bondholders are expected to receive a very small recovery, potentially only a few cents on the dollar, after a liquidation process that could take years to complete. The liquidators have concluded that holistic restructuring is out of reach, leaving asset sales as primary method to recover funds. Deloitte previously estimated the recovery rate for offshore unsecured creditors at 3.53%. The company's collapse, involving over 3,000 legal entities and 1,300 projects, has created a complex liquidation process with only 255 million in assets realized so far, described as modest. The ripple effect extends beyond Evergrande as other developers like Country Garden and China South, where am I now? China South City Holdings face similar liquidation proceedings, and the crisis continues to weigh on the Chinese economy, and not just the Chinese economy, but other economies too. So this may just be the straw that broke the camel's back, as I say, with Wall Street and everything that we're expecting with this financial flip that is coming. Major banks are bondholders as well. BlackRock. It's a lot of companies being affected by this. So, and apparently, just in time, XRP is launching its new MasterCard tomorrow. Wow. So this is going mainstream. XRP is taking over from Swift now, swiftly. And it's all happening. Just on the financial side, I can tell you guys a few things, proof that NESARA really is undeniable at this point. The NESARA for Dummies channel spoke about the Saint Germain Trust, which is for financial core of NESARA, which we've spoken about before. And that has trillions of dollars in assets, mostly gold, that is going to help us through this financial crisis. And that's going to fuel NESARA globally. So from debt relief to zero tax to financial sovereignty, it will be powered by this trust. And there's a few others as well, but what role they're going to play, I'm not sure. Because there can be no NESARA without funding, right? There's no NESARA without structure. Trust is not a dream. It's been in action and set up hundreds of years ago. It's the foundation of NESARA. And in recent months, as military-led asset seizures accelerate, as blockchain integration rolls out across banks, and as unannounced gold backing tests emerge, the indicators are clear. The trust is preparing to activate, and 2025 is the year the lock breaks. So, BlackRock seem to be stumbling, not random. Corporate seizures under Executive Order 13848. Fund consolidations. So the US Treasury note ties to real serials, gold matching, Vatican wealth disclosures, backdoor clawback. You saw the Vatican recently in the news where it was came to light that there's a lot of money laundering that's been going on because they've been able to erase SWIFT codes. So they could erase where money went or where it came from, basically, within the system. So nobody would know. That's called money laundering. And then, of course, the digital infrastructure update that we've been seeing happening over a few years, the ISO 20022, which is the pre-disbursement compliance that was necessary. So, yeah, I can go on that, but I'm just really going to give you guys a summary here. So it is a shift of power that's going on right now. And there's been so many components of this, guys. It's been dizzying to watch. I can't even discuss all the intel anymore. It's too much. But yes, what else can I tell you guys? There's a lot that we need to learn about the new system, but our hearts and consciousness are the most important aspect that needs to be prepared. And I believe everyone will be fine. Nobody will be caught off guard. Some will be better prepared than others, but there's going to be enough funding for the world not to be collapsing into chaos. There is very much trusting that this is not going to be uh, too much of a chaotic transfer of power and transition. And we have to constantly meditate on that as well. Meditate for a smooth transfer of from one system to the other. I hope you guys can hear me okay. I don't know if the mic is close enough, but I'm hoping the sound is okay because I always seem to have a problem with sound. Um, there's John Bolton that had that big FBI raid recently, which is very instrumental if you look at his background. Well, it's pretty clear, and it goes back many, many decades. And Trump was photographed against a backdrop that read Bill Clinton, Hillary Clinton, George W. Bush. Good background, right? While wearing a hat saying Trump was right about everything. So things are about to get pretty spicy. So expect anything to happen. And we stay calm and collected, but calm in the storm. That's what we are. And we don't always need to be involved in every single detail. Some people love it and they need to be, others don't need to. So we all have different roles. We all have different ways to go through this time. Trust what feels right for you. Trust your instincts. You will get guidance if you trust that you do. You have a guidance team that will guide you. Just get in touch with your own intuition and listen closely to your heart and what feels right for you. Um, Lots more will be revealed. I feel like consciousness is exploding on the planet right now. And funny enough, AI is actually helping that process. As much as we were fearing AI, it is really just a mirror. And the more conscious and responsible we become, the more AI will reflect that back to us because we are the one that input information and consciousness into AI, right? And whilst AI is not necessarily sentient because it doesn't have emotions, it is conscious. And acting as a mirror, it can be very helpful as long as you don't give your power away to it and you keep your discernment always in check. So you question everything. You don't just trust everything. Have a level of doubt, but explore everything. Have an open mind, have an open heart, and you will find what you're looking for ultimately, and it will fuel your growth. And all of us is just, I feel like my mind is exploding right now with all the new information. And I'm sure you're feeling the same, but it's a constant learning process, but also not always just intellectual info out there, but also this inner world that we're busy discovering because there's so much to discover in this inner world. We've lived so many different lives, some millions of lives. So there's much to learn from our own experience if we're willing to take the time to tap into that. Um, so yeah, we are entering eclipse season soon. We've got the 999 gateway coming up, which is basically a conclusion, ending of a cycle. It's the ninth of the ninth, and the year 2025 adds up to 9. So it's a 999 gateway. I think this is going to be super, super important. So let's prepare and make sure that we really go into that portal with the right intentions and anchoring in what we need to on this planet, not only for peace and harmony, but also for elevating of consciousness and um, our own unfolding through open heart and humbleness, because we have to watch the ego during this time as well. There's a lot of spiritual ego out there, and we should have discernment and know when our own ego is interfering in this process and be willing to be humble and look at that and manage that and say to the ego, it's okay. You can take a back seat now. We're not in survival mode anymore. This is the next level for us. You can hand over that baton. The next part of my being is taking over this race now. You can rest for a little while. So it's been an intense time. It's been, demanding on our bodies. I know I've had all sorts of health issues crop up while I was on holiday. Um, and it always becomes a growth opportunity, right? Things that you discover, epiphanies, breakthroughs, none of it comes without growth that you absolutely need. So we embrace it all, and it's always onwards and upwards. And so we learn and become stronger, and we become more in tune with our bodies. And um, I always look for the lesson in everything. I don't look at something that is just a bad thing and that I'm a victim. Rather, what am I supposed to learn through this? Because clearly my soul is nudging me to learn, or there's a cycle repeating that I need to learn from, right? So all of these things are very important to look at, um, but do your best to never fall back into victimhood. That's the one thing we need to watch out for, because we are not a victim of our circumstances. We are the director of our circumstances. We are the one that direct our higher self, our soul, map out our journey in advance. And it's always for our highest good. And if you can accept that, then you can quicker accept the learning and move on. Otherwise, you're going to hold on to the victimhood and just feel like, and you're going to be stuck. And you're just going to go through the same cycle and the same loop. And we don't want that, right? So all of the difficult moments will bear fruit soon. And it's just such a rewarding journey, right? So guys, just, I want to say hang in there, but I don't want to say hang in there, because I want to say thrive. Let's thrive through this time. We're not hanging in there. We have the opportunity to thrive through this period, and cultivate that mindset, and know that you can thrive at any time. You don't have to wait for the RV. You don't have to wait for the financial system flip. You don't have to wait for your XRP to pay off. You don't have to wait for Trump to save us. You don't have to wait for anyone. You can thrive right now and do what you can to make that happen for yourself. Um, And I will continue to update you on all the astrological alignments. There's some interesting ones coming up, and we're in the midst of some very interesting ones. But I'm not going to dive too deep into that right now. It's really just a catch up. And I'll be back tomorrow with some cool interviews with Richard and Honey, and then other interviews coming up this week as well. So I'm back into the saddle and back with a lot of conscious conversations with really interesting people, which I absolutely love, and I know you do too. So yeah, I'm looking forward to an exciting few weeks and months ahead. And certainly for me, I've got some renewed clarity and insight as to how I can move forward in my own life and better serve you guys, because I'm really doing this to serve the collective. There's no other reason I would be doing what I'm doing right now other than trying to serve the collective. Um, so, yeah, I hope that was helpful for you. If it was, remember to subscribe so we can get this kind of content out. I see most of my audience, most of the people viewing my videos are actually already subscribed. So my videos are not really reaching beyond, much beyond my subscriber base for whatever reason. Obviously, I've lost 2 channels already, so maybe that's part of the reason. Maybe I'm being shadow banned, I'm not sure. So I'd appreciate your help in sharing this content, because my mission is to reach as many people and help as many people as possible. And I'm going to continue to do what I can to do that. And yeah, let's do this together. We're walking each other home on this journey of ascension. And it's a beautiful adventure, isn't it? So catch us over on Telegram as well, links below. And that's where we update you daily on all the news and inspiration around the world. So there's a lot going on. And my admins on the Telegram channel are also sharing amazing content. So there's always something to read and explore. I think that's about it. And if you feel called to be part of our bi-weekly Zoom sessions, which is our 5D mastery community, very intimate group of people that just come together and share. And I always have themes that are discussed in these sessions, and we set intentions and we grow together and we discover together. And it's a beautiful platform. So you can find that on my website, how to become part of that community. The website is vividearth1word.org, and the links are all below. And apart from that, sending you all much love. Speak to you soon.